Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. So today we will talk about my favorite movie of all time. It's an awesome classic, the movie Jaws. Jaws is an action-packed movie about a killer shark that terrorizes the town of Amity Island. Warning, this video has spoilers, a lot of spoilers, so I hope you watched the movie before. And don't say that you've read the book before. I've read it and it's so different from the movie. I just want to say where I got this information from. So it's this Jaws magazine that was from last year, 2020, celebrating the 45th anniversary of the movie Jaws. Also, I hope you don't mind my beautiful Jaws poster here. It's like the most beautiful thing I have. It's awesome. So it's kind of like, most people I got this information from, a lot of it I got from my mind because I am a big Jaws fan. I have this poster right here. But, yeah, it's really cool. It's, a, Life magazine. So I just want to say that, Before I start, let's talk about the basic facts. This legendary movie was the highest grossing movie of all time, before it got topped by Lucas's Star Wars. The movie was directed by Steven Spielberg, who also directed other films, such as E.T. the Extraterrestrial, the Indiana Jones movies, and Jurassic Park, just to name a few. This film follows Police Chief Martin Brody, played by Roy Scheider, who had just moved to Amity a few months ago. There's also Matt Hooper, played by Richard Dreyfuss, who's a shark expert trying to help kill the shark. And finally, there's Quint, who's a shark hunter played by Robert Shaw. Yes, the Robert Shaw. Later in the movie, we find out that Quint is one of the only survivors of the SS Indianapolis, a vessel that was delivering bombs for the U.S. in World War II, but got torpedoed by a Japanese submarine, and some survivors got attacked by a group of sharks. The famous tune, Dun 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 Dun, was composed by famous composer John Williams, who later on did the music for all of the Star Wars movies, all of the Indiana Jones movies, Jaws 2, E.T., Superman, Home Alone, Jurassic Park, Catch Me If You Can, the first 2 Harry Potter movies, and so much more. Before I get into the video, if you're already enjoying the video, then smash the like and subscribe button, then ring the bell. Now, let's get into it. When Peter Benchley published Jaws in 1974, it was an instant hit right away, and Universal brought the rights to the movie. David Brown and Richard D. Zanuck got interested in making the project. One day, Spielberg walked into the office. Zanuck and Brown had produced Steven's last movies. Steven noticed the script and he asked, "What's this?" They responded that it's a movie about a shark. Then he asked, "Can I read it?" They replied, "Sure." And so he read it, and he said, "Well, I gotta make this movie." He didn't know this film would launch his career. The screenplay was written by Peter Benchley and Carla Gottlieb, who also played a small role as Meadows. Speaking of small roles, Peter Benchley had a cameo in the movie. He played that news reporter in the scene right before those 2 kids used that fake cardboard fin to prank the whole town. After a lot of hard casting, they had those 3 main roles: Roy Scheider as Brody, Richard Dreyfuss as Hooper, and Robert Shaw as Quint. They still needed to fill out the other roles, who would play Ellen Brody and Mayor Vaughn. They had Lauren Gary, who was none other than the wife of Sid Sheinberg. I'm not sure if I pronounced that right. He was the president of Universal then. I think he might have been the vice president, but this doesn't matter. As for Mayor Vaughn, they had Maury Hamilton play the part. And it's sad because in Jaws 2, there was a deleted scene where they were voting out if they should fire Brody or not, and Mayor Vaughn was the only raised his hand not to. The reason it's sad is because Maury Hamilton died a few years after Jaws 2 was released. So I think it might have been better if that deleted scene wasn't really deleted. Bob Matty constructed the 25-foot mechanical shark. You might recognize that name. It's probably because he watched the credits of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. He constructed the giant squid. The shark was designed by production designer Joe Alves, who also worked on Jaws 2 and directed my least favorite movie of all time, Jaws 3D. The shark was nicknamed Bruce on set, named after Steven's lawyer. Just like the book, the shark is a 25-foot-long great white. Originally, the crew of Jaws wanted to train an actual shark, but they quickly figured out that it's impossible to train an actual shark. Remember, this was decades before modern CGI was invented. It's not like they could do that. And also, real quick, if you didn't know, they were actually making this new CGI Rugrats movie. Yeah, and this is like Chucky internet meme. No, wait, no, not that Chucky. This Chucky. I don't think it's the official thing. I think it was just fan-made, but this is what the actual Chucky Finstall looks like. I've never watched the Rugrats, and also for that matter, I've never watched Space Jam: A New Legacy. But I just want to point that out real quick because that scene will give me nightmares tonight. Before Jaws, movies, besides documentaries that had ocean scenes, were always shot in these big studio tanks. But with Jaws, Spielberg wanted to have it more authentic. He actually wanted to shoot out in the actual ocean. The crew picked Martha's Vineyard as the shooting location. If you don't know, Martha's Vineyard is off the coast of Massachusetts. Yes, they picked it because it's the perfect place to resemble Amity, but also because it's the only place where you cannot go out that far in the ocean and look all 360 degrees around and not see a single piece of land. There were also problems too, though. There would be boats out there on the water, and the crew would have to shoo them away. Some would be nice, but others would swear at them. Then there was the shark. It barely worked. In fact, it took 7 months to film, not make it, but to shoot it. If you just like so, well, on average, it takes about 2 to 3 months. Jaws took more than double. But back to the story. There were 3 mechanical sharks used for the film. One where you could see all the wires from the left side, and another where you could see all the wires from the right side, and one where it would just be the full shark. Oh yeah, and there was also a dorsal fin. When they were about to film the camera test out in the ocean, the mechanical shark sank to the bottom of the ocean. I don't know which mechanical shark, though. I need to turn the page of the script. They, the crew, had 2 divers to retrieve it back to the surface for them. I feel real bad for those divers. I mean, that mechanical shark weighs a few tons. If you don't know how much a ton is, come on. It's the 24th century. We have Google. Since the mechanical shark barely worked, the crew had to come up with new ways to show the shark when it's not really there, and fast. One idea was the barrels. They made it seem that the shark is pulling around the barrels without showing the shark. All you would see are the barrels. Simple. One of the reasons why the shark barely worked was that the crew only gave so much time to Matty, and he couldn't make them work all the time. Yeah. Another one of the reasons is that sometimes salt water would ruin the system inside of the shark. Yeah, they faced a lot of problems on the production of Jaws, if you didn't get that already. They needed more ideas that would show the shark without really showing it. And then somebody came up with an idea that would change the movie forever. Someone had the idea of showing from the shark's perspective. It made Jaws what Jaws is today. Jaws wouldn't be as successful as it is. It also added more suspense to the film, because in horror movies, suspense is kind of scarier than the action, if you get what I'm saying. Then finally, Jaws wrapped in September of 1974. After all the chaos, it was time for the editing, but nope, we're not there yet. Did anyone get that reference? Get it? Back to the Future, and we're going back to, whatever. Spielberg heard the crew was paying to dunk him into the drink after the final take. He outsmarted them and quickly hopped onto a ferry to the mainland, then caught a car to Boston, which has become a Spielberg tradition ever since, leaving the set before the final take. Now, the reshooting. They reshot the scene with Hooper and the disembodied head jump scare. They reshot it because they thought that Ruffus's reaction wasn't very good. We shot it in Warner Field's pool to make sure the water was like they had that like ocean milky feeling. They poured a bunch of milk in the pool. That's one nasty pool. They did 3 weeks of reshooting in total. Warner Fields was the editor and even won an award for her work on Jaws. At one point during filming, the orca started to sink. No, it sank when it wasn't supposed to. All the actors and crew had to get off, but there was also the film. If it got soaked, they would have to shoot all those scenes all over again. Luckily, they saved the film, and with Warner Field's skills, she started editing. Soon, Jaws was ready for the public. They showed the film to a test audience in Dallas, Texas, and the crew was surprised that the audience loved it. They showed the film again in Lakewood, California, and there were mega results. Sid Sheinberg said, "We're going to go wide with this. We're going to open on 400 screens." Back then, when movies came out, they played in cities, and then second went theaters, so the picture opened wide and kept on grossing. It was the most popular and greatest film then. Take that, Godfather! But it gave the idea that sharks are man-eaters. People started hunting sharks, mainly shark fin soup, a dish found in Asia. Theaters were packed as the film opened to a record $7 million at the domestic box office, and it was the top-grossing movie every weekend that summer. It was such a success, and the sharks didn't even appear until 2/3 in the movie. It's a legendary movie, and still is to this day. And hey, look, it's a shooting star! Oh yeah, speaking of, there's actually a shooting star in like every single Steven Spielberg movie. I know, right? So before the video ends, I just want to share. I actually do have the book Jaws. It's actually really special. You know why? Wait. Sorry. I have the book in one hand and the camera in another. But because it got signed, not by Peter Benchley, because he died in like 2006, 2007, or 2008, one of those years, but by Wendy Benchley, the wife of Peter Benchley. And I actually met her at my aquarium. She gave like a lecture about like her scuba diving with Peter and him publishing the book. I thought it was really cool. She signed this book, and I also have Jaws 2. It's not by Peter Benchley. It's by let me try to pronounce it. Hank Seals, something like that. It's based on the screenplay of the movie Jaws 2. And I also have the book Jaws the Revenge, also by Hank Seals. Yeah. But Jaws 3D, it's not good enough to have its own book. So yeah, I have the Jaws books, and yeah, real quick, I just want to say, Jaws is rated PG, not PG-13, but PG. It does say some material may not be suitable for pre-teenagers, and it also says may be too intense for younger children. The reason it's PG and not PG-13 was PG-13 wasn't invented yet. Fun fact, it was actually invented by Steven Spielberg, the director of the movie, as you can see right here. We talked about him in the video. You should know who Steven Spielberg is at this point, unless you just fast forward to this point, or you just weren't listening. But PG-13 wasn't invented yet. It was invented for the first movie that was PG-13 was Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. It's my favorite Indiana Jones movie. I love the Indiana Jones movies. I love like every single Steven Spielberg movie. But yeah. Thanks for watching the video. I know I didn't include every single detail because that would take too long. That would take a really long time. Don't forget to like and subscribe and ring the bell to be notified for my latest videos. Also, I wanted to make this a series talking about films from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Honestly, Jaws is like the only film that I like that's from the 70s. I would want to do Back to the Future or Hoop and Roger Rabbit next, but I'm gonna take a little break because it took me so darn long to make this video. Yeah, comment down below what movie you would want. Reminder, it has to be from the 70s, 80s, or 90s. Also, if you like this sort of thing, then I would recommend The Movies That Made Us on Netflix. Speaking of, on the 23rd, The Movies That Made Us Part 2 will come out, and I'm really super darn excited for that. Also, I just want to say, I'm going to make a Roblox video soon, so I just want to say that, because Roblox is my favorite game. I've been playing it a lot recently. I started playing, 2018. I started playing in October 2018. If you look at my account, it would say 2019, but I used to have an old account, and that was 2018. So, yeah. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!